Welcome back, brothers and sisters. I am Braden. This is Langley Outdoors Academy, and thank you for stopping by. Alright, guys, the content for this Friday evening is Gavin Newsom coming out swinging against gun owners in California. Now, normally, I would say this is just a California issue, but this is definitely not a California issue. California sets the narrative for gun control laws in the rest of the nation the same way Texas sets the narrative for gun freedom laws in the rest of the nation. These are the two powerhouses, and Gavin Newsom just declared open war on gun owners, really testing the waters on the whole Texas abortion bill thing. He's mentioned it before, but he officially endorsed it today. That's what we're going to talk about. Everything is linked in the description box below. I want to hear from you guys on this one and spread this out because this is something we need to know about. Like I said, everything's linked in the description box. We're going to say a quick word from Sportsman's Guide, and then we're going to jump right into the details here. Now, whatever you're looking for to put on the table this season, big game, turkey, fish, upland birds, waterfowl, Sportsman's Guide has what you need to succeed. From the brands that you trust, we're talking Vortex, Scentlock, Irish Setter, Nomad, all the heavy hitters. And Sportsman's Guide isn't just a one-trick pony. They've got everything for your outdoor lifestyle, from camping, fishing and hiking, to working outside or just hanging out with your buddies. If it happens outdoors, you'll find it at Sportsman's Guide. If you're ever there, use Langley20 for $20 off and check them out today. And thank you so much for Sportsman's Guide to sponsor this week's videos that made it possible. But now, let's dive in to what Newsom said today, because this is pretty substantial. Some quotes in here, I can't wait to share them with you. Hang out to the end because there's some doozies. All right, so San Diego, this is from the AP, again, linked in description box. A new bill in California would allow private citizens to go after gun makers the same way Texas lets them target abortion providers. Though gun advocates immediately promised a court challenge if it becomes law, well, of course it's going to be a court challenge. And before we get too deep into this, I want to say really the difference here. The Democrats in California, including Newsom, are incensed about the abortion thing in Texas and the Supreme Court. The problem that they're going to run into, straight out, is gun rights are literally enshrined in the Second Amendment of the Constitution, of the Bill of Rights. The other is not exactly in that Bill of Rights. That's where they're going to run into issues because they're trying to treat apples to apples, and it's definitely apples to oranges. But let's continue. Listen to this quote. This is from Gavin Newsom, and I knew it the whole time. He said, that little inner gun advocate came out here, didn't it? Quote, "I have no issue with guns or gun owners," Newsom said. "I have a serious issue with gun violence." Well, I would hope so. Everyone has a serious issue with gun violence. But what's interesting is the disconnect between the fact that you have no issues with guns or gun owners, but all gun violence is guns' fault. So therefore, you're indirectly attacking guns and gun owners. Small difference. No big deal. But let's continue. All right, so you guys remember in California when the assault weapons ban was overturned and it's kind of bogged down in the court system? If you recall, the Democrats, particularly Newsom, was just over the moon angry about the fact that the federal judge, likened the AR-15 to a Swiss Army knife. Really upset about that. But this is what they're doing now. Check this out. This is some interesting things here. Democratic Governor Gavin Newsom on Friday backed legislation that would let private citizens enforce the state's ban on assault weapons. Private citizens enforcing the state's ban, even though the state ban is in limbo in the court system right now. It's modeled after a Texas law that lets private citizens enforce that state's ban on abortions once a fetal heartbeat is detected. So it's the same thing, and we even talked about on this channel. The Texas thing does set a precedent, but I guarantee you're going to see this in other places nationwide now that California has done it. Newsom said he hopes the proposal forces the U.S. Supreme Court's hand on the Texas abortion law. He said it will either expose their hypocrisy if they should block California's proposal that affects the gun industry and not the Texas law on abortion, or it'll get them to reconsider the absurdity of their previous decision. So their stance here, the Democrats in this instance, their stance is either the Supreme Court, we've got them where we want them. They're either going to say, you're right, we were wrong on the Texas law, or they're going to say this is perfectly fine. So it's a win-win for Democrats. The only problem is they're not really calculating that whole rights thing in the Bill of Rights. It's a bit of an issue that I mentioned earlier. Now, let's keep going because this is important what Newsom says. Quote, "There is no principled way the U.S. Supreme Court cannot uphold this California law. None. Period. Full stop. It is quite literally modeled after the law they just upheld in Texas," Newsom said. He's calling their bluff. He's doing this for a political means, and when this fails, it's going to suck for them. Not that I'm upset it's going to suck for them, but it's going to suck for them. Again, rights versus existing court decisions. Very, very different. And that's not what they're banking on here, but let's keep going. The proposal fulfills fears from some gun rights groups who have opposed Texas abortion law because they worried liberal states like California would use the same principle on guns. We talked about it on this channel. That is a valid concern, and it is being fulfilled. I don't believe it's going to go all the way and do what the Democrats want it to do, but we did kind of give them the arrow for the fletching for the arrow here. I mean, I'm going to be honest. Texas did set them up for this. Here's one of two different quotes. I'm sick of being on the defense on this stuff, Newsom said. Defense? California hasn't been on defense on gun control in like 30 or 40 years. One. And here's the other thing. Bring it on, he said. They'll be crushed. The people of California have no patience for gun violence. Now that's in response to a reporter asking about the lawsuits that will be filed. Really? Bring it on? That's what you want to go with? Okay. I look forward to seeing you try to crush the gun rights advocates in California. That'll be very fascinating. And that's what I've got for you guys tonight. Let me know what you think in the comments field below, and I will see you on the next one. I'm Braden. See you later.